Hi, everyone. Hopefully you're able to find me here. A second. I was having a little trouble getting onto the live YouTube. There we go. And okay. So we're going to start in a standing position. So if you want to just come onto your mat. Today we're going to use a strap. So if you've got a strap handy, we'll grab that. If not, that's okay. You can use a bathrobe tie, or you could use a belt or something like that, but no props is fine as well. So we'll just come into standing here at the top of your mat. And today's practice is going to be about balance. So balance has many different kinds of definitions. One is the balance of weight. So we'll be shifting weight through your body, finding balance. Also can have to do with different qualities of finding a balance between the qualities that are in your body or in your life. So let's just start with either eyes closed or eyes open and just finding a point on the wall in front of you and just really feeling your feet. And feeling the 3 points of your feet, the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the heel. And now start to feel your breath. And I want you to take some big breaths into your ribs. And as you exhale, you're going to press the air out. And then breathing into the ribs. And really press the air out. Let's do this a few more times. And one more big breath. And if your eyes are closed, slowly open them and begin to bring your attention now into your feet. So feeling that big toe mound, baby toe mound, and heel. Feel how you're balanced in your feet. If there's more pressure into the big toe mound, baby toe mound, or heel, more pressure to the right or the left. And without changing it, we're just going to notice how that feels. And now start to change that weight distribution. So you're going to lean forward into the big toe mounds, into the toes, and then lean back into the heels. And leaning forward and back. And then moving side to side, you can go from right to left. And then in a circle, so forward to the side and then back, and to the other side and forward. And then the other direction. Good. And slowly start to make your circle smaller and smaller until you again find the center where you're balanced equally into the feet. Let's take 3 big breaths here. And now filling into the pelvis, the belly, and the ribs. And pressing the air out. And pelvis, belly, ribs. And pressing the air out. Good. Okay, if you're not at the top of the mat, come up to the top. I'm just going to move the video back here so you can see me. Go up at the top of the mat. We're going to start to lift our arms up overhead, reaching up, and then bring your arms around and come into chair. And then reach up, Tadasana, or up and down into chair. So this time of year, let's keep with this flow. This time of year in the spring, we can have the qualities of heaviness, of cool, coming into our bodies, into the season. And so balance is different at this time of year than if you were into winter or if you were in summer. And also that kind of stagnation or slowing starts to happen into the spring. Okay, reach up, grab onto the right wrist and side bend. And back to the other side. And arms behind your back. Interlace your fingers, or here's where you can grab your strap and hold it between your hands. So just opening up through the chest into a little bit of a back bend. You're going to start to look up. And the back bend in the thoracic spine, so between the shoulder blades. Let's take 2 more breaths just like that. And release your arms. We're going to come back into the squat. This time, arms into cactus. And as you exhale, come down, squeeze yourself in. Inhale up, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up, squeeze. So let's keep moving like this. So in this time of year, our balance, we want to add some more movement, some more energy into our bodies. So today's practice will be a little bit more movement, a little bit more flow. And we also have a lot of fun balance postures in yoga too that we can play around with to kind of test our balance. And last one, coming up. Reach your arms overhead, again, side bend. Make sure as you're bending, you're feeling into both feet. They're staying even on the ground. Back up to center, over the other side. Staying with both feet. And back to center, bring your arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, open your collarbone, your chest, coming into a little bit of a back bend. As if you're kind of pointing your sternum up towards where the ceiling meets the wall. One more breath. And take your feet a little bit wider, keeping that bind with your hands. We're going to come into a forward fold. So bending, hitting at your hips, taking your arms up and over. Let your head go, a little bit of shake. Some big breath. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. So you can have your chest right on your thighs. So you can have it right there. Big bend in the knees. Keep most of that stretch into the hamstrings. Release your arms down. Come up into a halfway lift. So your hands will come to your shins or onto your thighs. So you're bringing your back into a flat back, or knees can be bent here as well. And then fold down. Halfway lift. And fold. One more time, halfway lift. Fold. Rise all the way up. Press down through your feet. Reach up. Swan dive forward, leading with the chest, the sternum, bend at the hips. Halfway lift, long spine. Fold, rise up, press down through your feet, reach up to your fingertips. And bow forward, lead with the sternum. Halfway lift. Fold, rise up. Hands to heart center, hands by your side. Good. If you like, you can bring in Ujjayi breath here. So breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. With a light constriction at the back of your throat so you can hear your breath. Two more cycles here. My breath kind of sounds like the waves of the ocean. And reach up, breathe in. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift. Bring your hands to the mat and step your left foot back. Coming into a low lunge, drop the back knee. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Lift the back knee, step the back foot up. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold, rise all the way up. And bow forward. Halfway lift. Hands to your mat. Pressing into the left foot, step the right foot back. Drop the back knee. Low lunge. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, hands back to the mat. Lift the back knee. Step the back foot in. Halfway lift. Fold. Rise all the way up. And bow forward. Halfway lift. Hands to your mat. Step the left foot back. And drop the back knee. We're just going to hold here for a couple breaths. You can drop back into the pelvis, dropping the pelvis down, or even inching the front heel forward so it's right under your knee. Curl the back toe under, lift the back knee. We're going to come into a long pyramid. So with your fingertips either on the ground here, or if you've got blocks at home, you can reach them hands on the blocks. You're going to press, straighten the front leg out and press your hip back. And then come forward into that low lunge. Exhale back into the long pyramid. Inhale forward into the low lunge. Let's do that 2 more times. And at any time you can drop the back knee and step the back foot forward. Halfway lift, fold, rise all the way up, and bow forward. Halfway lift, hands to the mat, step the right foot back. Drop the back knee, coming into that low lunge, so you're dropping through the pelvis. Maybe wiggle the front foot forward so it's right under your knee. Lift the back knee, curling the toes under, coming into that long pyramid. Lift the back knee and then press back. Inhale forward into the low lunge. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Let's go 3 more times with your own breath. And don't worry about how big your movement is. The key here is to stay with some kind of movement that is in sync with your breath. So if you start to get winded, slow it down or just move smaller. Last one. And step the back foot in. Halfway lift. Fold. And rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Hands by your side into Tadasana. Into mountain pose. Check in again with your feet. You feel your feet on your mat. The 3 points. Maybe you've started to feel some heat warming through your body, some circulation, some movement after that, the few flows that we've done. Let's come back into chair. Arms can come out to the side, or you can bring them onto your pelvis, onto your hips. Start to shift your weight into the right foot. So getting light through the left, and you're just gonna lift the heel and then press it back down. Shift over to the left and lift the right heel and then back down. So come back to center, and now see if you can do this without any sway through your body. So if there's like a shift side to side like this, try to take out as much of that as you can. So shift to the right, maybe lift the left heel, and come back down. Shift to the left, maybe lift the right heel. Good, back to center. 2 breaths here. And come back up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back to chair. Start to shift into the right leg, getting light through the left. And then take that left leg back into crescent lunge. Come high on the ball of the back foot, and your arms can come up overhead or into cactus. Let's take 3 cycles of breath here. Bring back Ujjayi if you're practicing Ujjayi, in through the nose, out through the nose. Hands to heart center, twist over towards the right leg. So option here to open arms, open arm twist, or you can hook your elbow and bind twist. 2 more cycles of breath. And come back to center. Bring your arms by your side, start to hinge at the right hip. You're leaning forward, bringing your weight into the right leg so that you can just lift the back foot. You're not jumping, you're just lifting the back foot up into airplane. So option here to keep your arms out to the side, or bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, and then lift up through your chest. Good, keep pressing down through that big toe mound, baby toe mound, and heel of the right foot, and through the heel of the left, as if it's pressing against your wall. And let's release back to chair. And rise up. Just notice both feet. Notice both legs. And let's come in again, chair. Shift over towards the left, so arms can be up or by your side. Get light through the right, step it back, crescent lunge. Find your feet. If they didn't land into a good balanced position, you can wiggle them out, move them apart. Hands at heart center, twist towards the left leg. Option to add that open arm twist or the bind to the elbows. And come back to center. Arms by your side, start hinging at the hip. Leaning forward into the left leg until you can just lift that back foot up. Option to add in the bind. Reaching up through the chest. And back to chair. And rise all the way up. Both feet on the mat. So start to shift your weight into the right leg. You're getting light through the left. You're going to start to externally rotate the left leg. And the key here is to just move through the hip, through the femur bones moving, but my pelvis is staying square or centered to the front. It's not rigid or hard, like if it moves a tiny bit, but see if you can keep it nice and soft in that movement. And then we'll switch sides. And externally rotating through the right. And it can be slow or fast, it's kind of up to you. And both feet back on the mat. We're going to move forward and back this time into the left foot. So forward, you can move anywhere in this range. Backwards, I want you to just move where your pelvis doesn't dip. So if your leg's coming back, it actually doesn't move that much. So about there, if you've got the full range of motion, it might be like 10 or 11 degrees, it's not much. It's not this motion, which is moving my pelvis. So it's smaller than that. So just kind of play with that. And then other side, forward and back. And release that foot. Take your leg out to the side this time. So grounding into the right foot, we're going to reach the left leg out and then back in. Okay. And this time you can add adduction across the center line of the body. Out, center, out, center. Other side. And don't worry about how high or how big this is. Again, you're staying in a range of motion that you can work with, that feels comfortable, maybe challenging, but not causing any pain. And then both legs back onto the ground. So we're going to take our legs into a wider stance now. So wider than hip width, but how wide is kind of up to you. And then rotate your right leg out. So you're about here. You're gazing warrior two, you're looking over your middle finger forward. And land here. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Now keeping the pelvis, legs where they are, but you're bending through your side of your torso. And come back to center. Dip your pelvis forward, extended side angle. And bring your gaze up towards the ceiling, up towards your fingers. And back to center, straighten the front leg. Dip your pelvis forward, triangle. And come all the way back up. Warrior two, half moon pose. So moving into half moon, we're going to start to lean forward. If you've got a block here and you want to bring it in front of your foot, you can do that now. We're leaning forward until you can de-weight the back leg. And then just lift the back leg up. Press through your top heel. Reaching up through your fingertips. And option to keep tapping your foot down. So you can keep your foot down in this pose and just kind of build up lifting. And release. Let's come back into the wide stance. We'll turn our feet out. Left leg turns out. Pelvis is level to the ground. Gaze is over the middle finger. Flip your front palm, reverse. Two more big breaths here. And back to warrior two. Dip your pelvis over the front leg. It's important to keep a nice long spine here. Anytime you crunch in or close in, it limits your breath. And we want to have the biggest, most expansive breath here. Get the air to all parts of your body. Okay, let's come back up. Warrior two, pelvis levels. Straighten your front leg, pelvis dips, triangle. And again, keeping your spine nice and long here. And come back up, warrior two, into half moon pose. So looking forward at that spot where you want to reach your hand, leaning and maybe even scooting your back foot in a bit. Hands to the ground, and then lift the back leg up. Don't worry if you fall out here, that's okay. The practice and balance isn't about just getting balance. It's about learning how to fall out of balance, to come out of balance, so that you can find your way back in. And that's kind of the balance of life, is we don't have a lot of control over many things. And so as we get bounced around from season to season or event to event, knowing how to find your way back into center or balance is what's important. Let's keep our legs wide here. We're going to come into a wide-legged fold. So toes are pointed forward or parallel to the edges of your mat. Take a big breath in. And bending at the hips. So there can be a sense of panic or anxiety or overwhelm when we move out of balance or when we come off balance, off center. But the more you practice finding it, the easier it gets to get back there. It's like laying a path. The more you walk that path, the easier it is to find. Come back up to our halfway lift. Hands onto your thighs, bend your knees, and press up to stand. We'll walk our feet in. And find your way back up to the top of the mat. Feeling both feet on your mat. And start to shift your weight into the right leg. And then getting light through the left. You're pressing down through the right foot on those big toe mound, baby toe mound, and heel. Externally rotate the right leg. And as you externally rotate, come into tree. So tree can be as a little kickstand at the shin, or you can draw your knee up towards the inner thigh. So picking whichever one works for you today. Arms can come out to a T for balance or a heart center, cactus, or overhead. So we're going to add on to this pose. Now bringing your knee up forward, press back into your airplane. You can take your arms out to the side here. 2 breaths here. Press through the heel. Don't worry about falling. That doesn't mean it's over to give up. Come back in. Start where you left off. And come forward, knee lifts. Externally rotate. Cross your ankle over your thigh. Figure 4. Hands at heart center or out to your side or cactus. Last breath. And back to tree, lift your knee up. Externally rotate and place it on your leg. 3 cycles of breath here. Keep your drishti up on the wall, up towards the ceiling. Ujjayi breath. Last breath. And release. Both feet on your mat. Shift your weight into the left foot. Getting light through the right. Find that external rotation. Tree pose. Kickstand, shin, or thigh. Take whatever arm position's working for you today. Up and over can be different than the last side. Bring your knee back to center. Take it back, airplane pose. Press through your heel, lift through your chest. You've got this. Balance is practice. Balance changes. Changes all the time. So what you do to get balanced may change all the time. There are some things that are pretty consistent though. Let's come back through. Even the type of yoga poses, asanas we do, externally rotate, cross your ankle, figure four. You can start to kind of sense this as you move. Notice how you feel before your practice and how you feel after your practice. It's a really good indicator of letting you know if you gave your body what it needs. Because a practice like this might feel really good today, and then another time might not be what you need. Let's come back up. Externally rotate, tree. Last 3 breaths. One more breath. And release down. Both feet on your mat. Take a big breath in. Let it go. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift. Fold. And rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Okay. Dancer's pose with a strap. So if you've got that strap, grab it now. You're going to take the strap around the ball of the left foot, and rounding into the right. So pressing down through the right foot, you'll kind of flip this foot behind you and take your arms overhead. So you can stay right here, knee in line with knee, or you can start to press your foot into the strap and reach your arms back, and maybe even walking your arms up the strap. And coming into dancer's the back bend. So you're trying to keep your pelvis more square to the front. And the pose is actually that arch through the back. And let's come out. Let's go to the other side. Strap underneath your foot. Ground through the left foot. Big toe mound, baby toe mound, and heel. Press down. Engaging that leg. Feeling the strength, the stability, the balance there. And then twirl the other leg around. So option to stay here or breathe and just move into it organically to where your body opens up. And it's much easier if you don't force that opening. Just let it happen in a nice, relaxed, engaged kind of way, but not forceful. And let's release. And back up at the top of the mat. Feel both feet. Close your eyes. And then open your eyes. Take your drishti, your gaze up on the wall. And reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step yourself back into your high plank. Hold here, gazes forward. You're pressing through your heels. And downward facing dog. No option here to stay in the dog, or if you want, you can come into your child's pose. And then take 3 nice big Ujjayi breaths here. And drop your knees down to the mat. And we'll swing our legs out in front of us and then come down onto your back. And laying on your back, you can drop both knees into your chest. Bring both knees into your chest. And then we'll hold on to the right knee and sending the left leg long. And then draw the left knee in. And then switch. And as you grab onto your knee, just give it a little squeeze in and then switch. Squeeze in and switch. Squeeze in and switch. Then both knees back in. Grab the undersides of your thighs. So coming into happy baby, you can stay like this or grab onto your shins or your feet. Lengthening the leg if you want, or just staying bent, knees towards your armpits. And release your feet back onto the ground. Lift your right leg up, externally rotate, and cross that ankle over the left thigh. And find that external rotation movement. We're just going to move or pulse our knee away and forward a couple times. And trying to keep your pelvis nice and soft or quiet as you move your leg bone. Thread the needle, grab the underside of your thigh, or you can just keep it lifted or foot against the wall. And let's release, both feet back on the ground, left leg comes up, externally rotate, crossing ankle over thigh, pulse the knee away and forward. Getting that movement, pelvis is soft. And thread the needle, you can lift the opposite leg or grab the underside of your thigh. So as you start to experience spring, and just start to notice if you are feeling those qualities of cool or heavy or wet. And things you can do with your yoga practice to kind of balance that out. So adding some movement or flow. Doesn't necessarily have to be vinyasa or sun salutations, but those things are great. But for adding that energy or the warmth, especially in the morning. And if you add them, just notice how you feel afterwards. And release. So we're going to take the right leg up again, externally rotate, and then cross the knee over. And now I've got crossed knees. I'm going to draw my knees into my chest. So I can hold on here. I'm going to hold for about 3 more cycles of breath. Another great yoga poses for getting that energizing, uplifting kind of movement are chest openers, so back bends, different back bends like dancers we did today, or with the bind behind your back and lifting through the chest. And let's release. And we'll switch sides. Lifting the left leg, external rotate. And cross knees. Draw your knees to your chest. option to hold the knees or grab onto the shins and draw your ankles out to the sides. Try to keep your tailbone on the mat or on the floor. Playing with balance is also a great way to find balance. So balance postures. And one of the biggest practices there is to come back even if you fall off. Like, don't give up. Recognize that some days it takes a little, it will be a little bit harder to find balance. Some days it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's really sad. But start to become curious about it. Take your arms out to a T, bring your shins parallel to the ground, and we'll just drop our knees over towards the right. Gaze can be up or over towards your fingertips. Start to let go of that Ujjayi breath if you've carried it all this way. Come back, start to come into a more natural breath. And come back up to center. And we'll drop our knees to the other side. Come back up to center. And we'll come into an inversion. So you can do waterfall with legs straight up or legs against the wall. Or if you want, you can come into a shoulder stand. It's up to you. Or if you have another favorite inversion. I'm just going to do the waterfall with my hands just underneath my bum, but you can bring a block or a blanket or a pillow underneath there. Let's take a few deep breaths, breathing into the ribs. You imagine like starting at your toes. Imagine your toes had little valves on them in which you could breathe, and you could draw the breath in all the way down your legs to your chest, and then press the air out, back out your toes. Inhale through the toes. Fill your ribs. Exhale, press the breath out your toes. And one more breath. And release your knees down to your chest. We've got one more pose before Shavasana. We're going to take a fish. So you can do an active fish or a restorative fish. It's kind of up to you. The active fish, your hands will go right underneath your bum, your elbows on the ground, legs are out straight, and then lifting up through the sternum and dropping your head back. So that's the active fish. And the more restorative fish, you've got lots of options, but one with a bolster or a pillow behind your back, you can take it like this. And a more intense one that if you've got two blocks at home you want to play with, you can bring one block between the shoulder blades and one block under your head. You'll line that up right like this. So pick your version, and we'll come into some nice deep breaths. I'm going to go back to the bolster. I like it soft today. Breathing into your rib cage. So taking your breath sideways or laterally into the side ribs. And now take your breath backwards into the back ribs towards the bolster or the floor. And now focus your breath upwards into your sternum, to the top of the sternum, lifting towards the ceiling. Okay, let's come out of the fish. And we'll come flat onto our backs into Shavasana. If you've got a blanket, grab it, bring it over top of you. Breathe into all sides of your ribs now, picturing your rib cage like an umbrella. As you breathe in, the umbrella opens. As you breathe out, the umbrella closes. Now let your breath fall to a natural rhythm. And taking your attention to the center of your forehead, between your eyebrows. Feel the right side of your body. Center of your forehead. Awareness to the left side of your body. And back to the center of your forehead. And then feeling left and right together. And start to bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes. Nice big breath into the ribs. Reach your arms overhead and then come into side pose, into fetal pose. And come up to seated with your hands at heart center. Let's take a big breath in and out. And the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. And have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And if you have any suggestions for upcoming practices, let me know. And take care. Bye.